A future we asked for. A future we were not ready for. Go ahead and take your Dragon Ball Z Scouters off because Meta's Ray-Ban displays, their power level's officially gone over 9,000. Now these glasses feel like a promise from decades past. Finally answered, and I'm not saying that lightly. I'm also saying that with the full awareness that this is very much a Gen 1 product. People will ask, will these glasses actually live up to the hype? And if you're asking that question, I don't think you're asking the right question, because a product like this cannot be judged by specs or menus or a feature list. It has to be judged through a story. And that story isn't about the glasses, it's about us, humanity, and society, and the way we interact with technology the second it enters our lives. So let's begin. Now, head-mounted displays are not new. The idea has been floating around since the 1970s and the 90s, long before the term augmented reality came along. Long before tech companies decided it was worth betting on the future. But the first consumer AR device was the Google Glass in 2013, and we all know how that panned out. But here we are in 2025, except this time the competition isn't playing around. Meta, Apple, Snapchat, Samsung, they're all circling the runway, and everyone wants their shot. And I'm not just observing this as a tech reviewer, because that's not what I am. I grew up in this era. I am the definition of a 90s kid. Saturday morning cartoons and action figures on the floor. Sci-fi shows that promised a future where one pair of glasses could change the entire world in front of you. That dream stayed lodged in my tiny little brain, and I never forgot it. A future where you put something over your face and reality rearranges itself just for you. But dreams come with subtle warnings, because once the dopamine dries up, what's left? Are these Meta displays really the future, or is it just one more nostalgic flash? I spent the last week living in these glasses, and today I'm going to bring you with me. What's the weather going to be like today in Elizabethtown? Back up, I wasn't even meaning to do that. Hey Meta, what am I looking at? And the cool thing about this is that it actually showed me a preview of what I was looking at and described it to me in the display. Now, for almost 2 decades, we've been glued to our phones, scrolling without thinking, reacting in fractions of a second. Swipe, dismiss, and we swipe again. So here's the real question. What happens when that same behavior, that same instant judgment, instant dopamine hit, instant distraction, becomes a layer floating directly in front of our eyes? That's not a small shift, that's a generational shift, because the future isn't written by the most powerful product. It's written by the product that fulfills a need, or sometimes creates one. So, do these glasses create a need? Short answer, not yet. But hold up, stay with me, because that not yet isn't a failure. It's a signal. And that signal says something way bigger is coming. Now, I tested everything. I tried using the display while driving, which I do not recommend. I sat on the couch watching TV with the family. I scrolled through the Instagram reels in the air, and I captured random little moments from the day just to see how the world would look if I had these on all day. And the bottom line, it's cool. I love it. The concept is absolutely there. The problem? None if you're an early adopter. The problem isn't the glasses. It's the requirement for a need. Why would somebody wear these instead of doom scrolling on their phone like they've always done? We are creatures of habit, and new habits only form when the payoff hits fast. And if it doesn't, if it's even slightly inconvenient, that whole idea ends up just getting thrown into a mental black hole. But then something interesting happened. One night, I was just sitting at the table, wearing the glasses, talking with the fam, and a notification floated quietly at the top of my vision. Not loud and not disruptive, it was just kind of there. And that was this weird moment, the moment that I realized something. I wasn't leaving the moment to check my phone, the moment stayed with me, and it felt eerie, like the world had split in two, the reality in front of me and this thin layer of digital presence hovering just behind it. And for the first time, I didn't feel pulled away from life. Tech didn't yank me out of the room. It gently tapped my shoulder. And that's when it hit me. Smartphones connected us to the world, but they disconnected us from the room that we're standing in. And these glasses, they might be the first step forward to fixing the problem that the smartphones originally created. We forget how quickly smartphones changed us. It just happened so quick. A decade ago, phones were tools. Okay, 2 decades ago. Today, they're the place we live in. We look down more than we look forward. We scroll more than we speak, and we escape more than we engage with people. But these glasses, for all their Gen 1 limitations, hint at something different. A world where we just stay present, where information comes to us instead without ripping us out of any particular moment that we're in, where the room and the people and the eye contact, all of that just stays intact. And it's not about having a display. It's about having a future where technology stops pulling us downward and starts lifting our eyes back up. This is not the future we were promised, but it might be the doorway to the one we actually need. The Meta Ray-Ban displays are not perfect, and they aren't mainstream. They aren't the revolution yet, but they are the first whisper of something much bigger. A shift in how we connect and how we pay attention. How we stay present in a world that's full of distractions, begging to just completely fracture us. And maybe these glasses aren't the future, not by themselves. But maybe, just maybe, they're the first reminder that the future doesn't always require looking down. Sometimes all it takes is remembering to look up. Thanks for watching.